The data screen's divided into two separate sections. On the left-hand side, you see input data. All of this data can be modified. On the right-hand side is the results, the calculated output data, and also providing in the bold black text boxes, the best fit gold cut pump and the motor for the application. Walking our way through the input data, you can first select the units you like to work in, imperial or metric. By selecting metric or imperial, the only change to the units will be to the maximum operating pressure and the maximum output torque required. Next, you enter the prime mover speed. And then below that, we have two small sections, one for input gearbox, the next section for the output gearbox. Now these default to a 1-to-1 ratio, and a 100% efficiency, meaning you don't have a gearbox in the application, no input or output gearbox. If you decide that you do need a gearbox and you want to change those, you'd simply change the ratio, and the definitions are given here. Prime mover speed over the hydraulic pump speed. If that calculates out to 0.8, you'll see that it does change. Your prime mover speed was 1800 RPM. The motor speed, or the pump speed, I'm sorry, is now 2250 RPM. So giving that ratio. And then we also default something less than 100%. And if you know what that is, you can simply go in and change that on your own. If you decide there's no input gearbox, simply change that back to 1, and everything defaults back to its original settings. Below that is the maximum operating pressure. Now this would maybe be limited if you had hoses or valving or something else in the application that you needed to limit that to 4,000 PSI. If not, you can take it right up to maximum continuous operating pressure of the pump and the motor, 5,000 PSI. Last two values are related to the output torque and the output speed that you need to do the work. These can be entered in, and then you noticed as we were entering data, if any parameter is put in with too large of a value, you can see that we start to get parameter checks and error messages happening. We'll talk through in a couple other examples how to correct some of those. Then off to the right-hand side, this is the calculated data. None of this can be changed other than by changing your inputs. Directly below the pump and the motor, we provide the operating displacement in both cubic inches per rev and cc per rev, along with the speed of the pump and the speed of the motor. We also then provide what the calculated operating pressure would be for the system and the input drive horsepower, or the power required in horsepower and kilowatts. Now we'll move on and we'll try a few examples.